Salutations, Jones Nation. Welcome back to the show. And today we are reviewing A House with a Clock in Its Walls. Dad, what is this movie about?
Well, it's actually based on a book that came out prior to the Harry Potter movies, but it involves a child who's orphaned and has to go live with his uncle, who turns out to be a warlock.
And the woman in the picture, she's not a spouse or a lover or anything. It is his neighbor, and she is a witch or ex-witch. Witch. And
which witch is it?
Which witch? Dad, no dad jokes on the review.
Gotta do dad jokes.
For starters, the banter between Jack Black and the lady,
played by Cate Blanchett,
it's fun. It's fine, but there's some fun dialogue. Nothing, extraordinary, but fun, cute moments.
Definitely, I thought the dialogue between them was one of the highlights. I also like the general look and aesthetic of the movie. It was kind of a cross between Disneyland and Shape of Water in the style of the way the sets were dressed and the house looked. I actually liked that part very much.
The house looked really cool. I really like what they did with the house and the things that kept changing in the house, the CGI with the furniture and whatnot. It looked really cool, and it was fun to look at. It was a cool atmosphere for the movie.
And that was also another interesting thing about the movie and their special effects. They used a combination of practical effects, CGI, and kind of a mixture of the two, and some of it was really good. The pumpkin scene, which you see in the trailer, was awful. Yeah. But I definitely, when you see the movie, I want one of those stained glass windows that he has in his house. That one's cool.
Yeah, but on the topic of seeing this movie, there was some good that we just mentioned, but there's a lot wrong with this movie. And this is part of the mix-up we have with this movie. For starters, the story overall was weak. They did a little too much serious and too much childish jokes, and it didn't blend well. I felt like if they went to one side or the other, either went with a darker story or went with a lighter, more charming story, it would have worked out much better for them. But this in between, I'm serious now, but I'm funny now. I'm serious now, but I'm childish now, wasn't doing it for me.
In a lot of ways, the movie really couldn't decide where it wanted to go. It's based on a children's book, and it definitely wanted to pull in the younger audience and have almost like I said, a Disneyland feel to it or something. But then it strayed toward really darker Harry Potter, even dark for Harry Potter style magic. And I think maybe part of that was Eli Roth as the director. I mean, he's known for producing such movies as Cabin Fever, Hostel, and some of these other darker, definitely adult orientated movies.
Yeah, I mean, this movie was pretty tame for what he does normally, but in the standards of a child film, I mean, they bring up moments of a demon being summoned and, the fact that there's witches and warlocks, and they take themselves seriously, and these books, can come off as some that is more on a satanic side, and they mess around with blood magic, and I thought it was going to be a fun magic movie, and I didn't know it was going to get this dark.
Yeah, I think they left a lot of things on the table when it came to the fish out of water, the orphan child that has moved to another city and he's bullied at school. Could have had some more fun with his magic and the kids at school. But this is kind of like the sweet and sour chicken you get, and sometimes it's just got too much pineapple. I mean, why is all that pineapple in my food? I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, and it spent a lot of time in the house with Jack Black, the kid, and Kate. And I'm not going to lie, I got bored. And I actually fell asleep twice for about 10 minutes during the movie. Yes, it was a long day, and we went to see this movie, but I didn't fall asleep in Predator, and that had a bad story, but great action. That kept me in it. But the story just got too slow for me, and it just was boring. And near the end, I actually thought about when the ending was going to be so I get to go home.
Now, what did you think of Jack Black's impression of Jack Black? Again, in this movie, he plays Jack Black, which was probably kind of disturbing to Cate Blanchett because she's a actress and was probably wondering, why is he still acting like himself, like he was in Jumanji or any other School of Rock or whatever.
He was way better in Jumanji. He was just Jack Black. I was going to compare it to Jumanji, but this doesn't even come close. And he wasn't very consistent with Jack Black either. He was a little bit of, high and mighty sorcerer, and then he's Jack Black, and then he's a slightly different accent, sorcerer, warlock, and then silly Jack Black, and it never worked out for me. And on top of that, this kid actor, I've seen him in other things, and I liked him in other things. In this movie, I didn't like him that much. And some of the scenes where he was completely overacting, like crying, when he does his crying, you can easily tell he is forcing it beyond belief. And my girlfriend actually laughed at those because it was so blatantly
overacted.
Yeah, and overacted.
Now, this is a little guy that was in Daddy's Home 1 and Daddy's Home 2. And for a lot of the time, he had the right feel or notes or acting chops. But the kids in general, which there were a lot of kid scenes because it was set in an elementary school, were not up to, say, the standards of the kids from Stranger Things.
And that's a hard standard to beat right there. You can't compare a lot of kids to the Stranger Kid crew and kids. They're way too good. But yeah, and overall the story pretty weak and predictable. You can predict, once you hear hear about the bad guy and the magic, and you go, okay, this is what's gonna happen. And the bad guy was underwhelming. And the final confrontation was mediocre and just is pretty more predictable. Nothing. I was bored watching that personally. I don't know how you were.
No, I agree on a lot of things. So overall, how do you feel about this movie? Should they run out to see it?
Honestly, no. I wouldn't say you should run out to see it. If you had a movie pass or whatever, I would probably still say no. I think there's probably other movies coming out this weekend that you should see, or movies that have come out in the past maybe a few weeks that you should see. I don't think this is one of those movies. I definitely wouldn't pay money out of my pocket to see this movie. This might be a movie you rent at home one day, but that's about it for me.
I mean, hopefully, even if this misfires a little bit, they try again and do better on the sequel. But overall, it's definitely aimed, for the most part, to a younger audience. I think there are a few scares, a few scenes that might be a little much for the younger audience. But so you might have to have a talk with your kids afterward. But there are some fun moments. It's not all bad.
There's cute moments among the boring story and whatnot, but there is cute moments. So you will have some moments of little giggles here and there, but that's about it. So if you guys liked the video, drop a like. If you dislike it, drop a dislike. Let us know why in the comments, and we're always open for critique.
Gentle, nice critiques. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notification, and look for us on Instagram and Twitter at TheJonesBoysReview. All right, catch you next time, Jones Nation.
Adios, Nation.